Welcome everybody. It's fantastic to see so many people here, and I feel quite emotional actually. So forgive me. I'm Janet Sylvester. I'm one of the co-founders of ME Action Scotland and Millions Missing.
I'm going to stand with that.
Can you welcome everyone here today and say thank you for coming, and welcome to everyone watching on the live stream, and welcome to everyone watching the recordings of Millions Missing in the days to come. It is amazing to see so many of you here. I know that attending Millions Missing may come at a huge cost to some of you. So a special thank you to those of you with ME who've made the journey today. And to all of those who are watching online. Many of you may be too ill to join us in person. Thank you for supporting us. Those people with ME who are too ill to attend are very much in our thoughts today, and Karima, one of our volunteers, will be reading out very moving and powerful messages from some of these people shortly. I've got written pause here, so I need to stop this thing, but I've still got more to say. Some of you will remember the first Millions Missing Scotland. I've got to avoid looking at Emma, my daughter, who's down there. Some of you will remember the first Millions Missing Scotland on 12th of May 2017, when my daughter and I organised an event here in front of this Parliament. We had no idea where it was going, but we knew how little help and support there was for people with ME in Scotland. And we felt we needed to do something to make a change. Emma was diagnosed with ME 10 years ago, and within months her condition worsened after she had undergone graded exercise therapy. We didn't understand then how harmful graded exercise therapy was to people with ME. We were told not to look up anything about ME on the internet as, according to our GP, there was a lot of false information on the web. We were told not to join support groups because, according to the doctors, many people in support groups were advising patients not to take part in graded exercise therapy, which of course they said was the treatment that would really help people with ME. I know this is a familiar story for many of you here, and I know that the problems are still here in Scotland. In June, the Scottish Government issued its strongest warning yet on graded exercise therapy. And as most of you here will know, it has been removed from the national guideline on ME/CFS. But, and that's a big but, graded exercise therapy is still being prescribed as treatment for people with ME. We hear stories every week from people who are being advised to exercise to get better, and people who are being refused medication because the doctor thinks it's all in their mind. This is absolutely shocking. Most frightening of all is the treatment of children with ME and young people. They are being forced to return to school, and they face referral to social services if they do not agree to attend. Perhaps worst of all is the fact that people with ME have been campaigning for 20 years, long before Emma became ill. You'll hear later on from Helen McDade, a fellow volunteer now for ME Action Scotland, who started campaigning in 2001 to get the Scottish Government to support people with ME. Helen launched a petition in 2001, as Emma did in 2018. Helen was secretary of the cross-party group on ME from 2001 to 2003. It's appalling, it is appalling that so little has been done in the 20 years since Helen launched her campaign. Indeed, arguably, things have got worse, with the recommendation in 2010 that ME should be treated with graded exercise therapy and cognitive behavioural therapy. The last couple of years has seen a change in our lives as the reality of living with COVID-19 has become apparent. For ME Action Scotland, one of the most significant factors is the numbers of people with long COVID who are being diagnosed with ME. The Scottish Government has responded to the pandemic with funding for research, for services and for education. Why is it that ME remains forgotten? We do have commitments from the Scottish Government to implement the new NICE guideline on ME. They have accepted the recommendations of numerous reports that have highlighted the need for services and support for people with ME. The Government acknowledged the need for training of health and social care professionals to ensure that support for ME is based on the new guideline. Our question today to the Government is, when will this happen? People with ME have been stigmatised and ignored for far too long. We need help now. We need funding now. And we need effective action from the Government now. MSPs are coming out today, and I can see some of them here, to show their support for people with ME. Please talk to them if you get the chance and tell them your story. They have the power to make the changes we need. Before handing over to the next speaker, I'd like to say a personal thank you to the volunteers who have worked incredibly hard in bringing Millions Missing together. Some of my fellow volunteers are here today, so a shout out to Joe, to Judith, to Helen, to Karima, from Pamela, who's come all the way from Lochaber, to Phil, who will be playing shortly, and Susan. Thank you very much for all your hard work. You'll be hearing some of them speak today, and I hope it will help you understand the huge efforts that we're putting in to trying to change things in Scotland. We know it's taking a long time, but we are constantly fighting for change, and we will continue to do so. Sorry, we will continue to do so. And a huge thank you to Danielle Watt, an amazing photographer who's here to make sure we have a record of what is happening. I can't see where she is, but thank you, Danielle. Presumably taking photos. There she is. And a big thank you to the two pandas. Give a wave. They've escaped from Edinburgh Zoo to come today and tell people that there are more pandas in Scotland than there are ME specialist nurses. So thank you very much. Finally, a plea. We are a small group of volunteers, most of us people with ME or carers for people with ME. We could be doing so much more if we had more volunteers. So if you feel you can help us, please come up and introduce yourself and hear more about how to get involved. Or, of course, just take a look at the ME Action website. Thank you very much for coming today, and I hope you can stay to hear the speeches that are coming up. Thank you.